And welcome into another video of the AZ Sports Fan. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate it. On this episode, we have a very special episode. We have our good friend Norbcam in the house. As you can tell, he is a Seattle Seahawks fan. Norb, man, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Excited to be on your show. This is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. So what I wanted to do was I want to talk a little bit about your channel as well, called Norbcam. You're a diehard Seattle Seahawks fan, as I am Arizona Cardinal fan. Can you give me just a little breakdown of your channel?
Sure. I've been, as far as the Seahawks are concerned, I've been a fan for most of my life. The Seahawks came into existence in '76. I really didn't become a fan till a few years after that. Show my age a little bit, but I didn't even really know football at the time they came out. But once I did become a fan of football, I started playing Little League football and discovered the Seahawks and really never looked back. So my first game to see them in person was in the Kingdom way back in the day. And my Little League team got to play on the field before they played the Giants in a home playoff game. And I got to watch the game from the sidelines. So that was pretty cool. So that was my first home game experience. So, and I got to score a touchdown in that game. So it was a pretty memorable first experience. But so a long time past, I was just mostly a TV fan. I didn't go to a whole lot of games until after college, and then I started got season tickets with a buddy of mine, and so we've been going for like 20 years. So we went to Kingdom games, went to the time when they were at the University of Washington when the new stadium was being built. So then when the new stadium came out in 2002, been going there ever since. And of course, where things blew up for me with my channel was when I combined my livelihood, which is actually filmmaking. I do that for my career. In the year that we went to the Super Bowl in 2013, I did some reaction videos in that season and put them online, and people really got into them. And then, of course, we won the NFC Championship, went to the Super Bowl, and then I decided to go with my dad to that Super Bowl in New York, New Jersey. Made a little mini documentary of the trip, and we won it. And it was a good year to start my channel because, of course, with winning the Super Bowl, got a lot of attention. The videos got a lot of views, so things really blew up for me, and it just kind of took off after that. So it's been a fun ride. So I've been just doing working my day job, but sidelining as a Seahawks fan who just loves to make videos and everything from music videos to comedy sketches to vlogs like this, just talking football and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun, man. Like, as I'm sure you understand. So yeah, nothing like, your passion with your team. But also, for me, filmmaking is what I do. So it's just a natural combination. So yeah,
well, that's cool. So cool, man.
Exciting.
Because honestly, like, I've been watching your channel before I even started my own channel. Because I just started my channel probably about a year and a half ago. I think we actually just barely hit a year this last July. Was when I started my channel, and I remember watching, bitterly watching your channel because Seahawks has had a lot of success. Well, the Cardinals had like 4 to 5 years of kind of like downward spiraling and not really having much success. But so I've been watching your channel, and kudos to all the music videos and all the success that your channel has been having. So really awesome stuff, man.
Thank you, man. Definitely. Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and every year you hope you make it back to that big game, and we're all trying for it. So hopefully, maybe this will be the year. We'll see.
Right. Well, hopefully, with the Cardinals have anything to do with it. We'll see, man. But we'll go ahead and segue here with the big blockbuster trade that happened with Jamal Adams. I know everybody's been talking your ear off this whole topic, and I kind of just wanted to know, like, what your thoughts are in general about the Jamal Adams. Do you think that you won that trade? Do you feel like the Jets won that trade? I know it's kind of a lot to dissect, but what was your overall reaction when you first heard Jamal Adams going to the Seattle Seahawks?
Well, to be honest, at first I was shocked. I didn't think it was going to happen because we'd actually done some speculative talks like, what would it take to bring Jamal Adams here? A first round pick and a this and a that. And, me and some of the people I collab with, we threw some ideas out there, but I don't think we were really that serious. It was more like, it's not going to happen. But if it were to happen, it would probably take like a first rounder, a second rounder, and maybe someone like Marquise Blair, our second year safety. So I had in my mind this sort of package that we would put together. Then when I saw it, and I saw it was 2 first rounders and a third, and our safety, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I think it was just that initial thought, like we gave up too much.
Yeah.
You know, because Bradley McDougald, I really liked him, and I kind of counted on him as one of our regular staple guys that while there's a lot of flux in other positions, it's like, okay, we got Bradley McDougald. He's solid there. So when I saw that they gave all that up, I was initially just sort of not, I was thinking not on the right side. But then the more I talked with people about it, the more I looked into it and studied, really looked at closely at Jamal Adams and what he does in the field, I kind of changed tune and realized, man, I think we really did well here. And just the way he plays, and because one of my favorite players of all time is Cam Chancellor. Just
right.
The way he lights it up, you know, the way he just hits. You just don't see that kind of, you know, type of that kind of player these days too much. So to see a guy who kind of looks and plays a lot like him got me really excited. And yeah, it was a lot to give up. But then I thought, you know, we never, in the, you know, knock on wood, we usually, when we pick in the first round, it's usually at the end. So you're really not getting those top first round picks. So if you want to get a first round top tier talent, well, you're going to have to give something up for it. That or else you got to play really bad and lose and get an early pick. So the fact that to get a guy who's arguably one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in the league, and somebody who reminds me of what I feel we've been missing is ever since Cam Chancellor left, we just have not had the guy who sort of filled that void. This kind of took care of both of those things. So yeah, I quickly changed tune and started going, yeah, this is great. I'm excited. And I know we're giving up a lot, but to me, assuming everything kind of plays out the way he looks on paper,
for sure,
we've seen on the field, I'm excited about it.
Absolutely, man. I mean, honestly, I first thought I made a reaction video myself. I'm not sure if you saw it, probably didn't, but it was kind of frustrating to say the least, just to kind of like thinking of it as a Cardinal fan, like seeing all these big top free agents going to like everybody in the NFC West, just kind of like lit a fire under me. But I understand that we all got DeAndre Hopkins, which doesn't very often to the Arizona Cardinals. We just kind of like landed that one and honestly took it running. So I'm super glad that we got DeAndre Hopkins, honestly. But I also wanted to go ahead and segue over to players that are opting out. We're getting closer and closer to the regular season of the NFL, and we just got somebody today, which was our right tackle, Marcus Gilbert, which was supposed to be like our starting right tackle, ended up opting out for the 2020 season. Did you have any people in the Seattle Seahawks that are opting out that are like pretty big names?
No, actually, we really haven't. We had one player, Chance Warmack, who we picked up in the offseason, a lineman, but we never seen him on the field. He was, you know, a free agency pickup. And so he went from basically a name that we just looked at to a name who's now off the list. So it wasn't one where we're like, oh my gosh, we needed this guy. We never really saw what he was going to exactly compete at. It's just one of the many players who we picked up to get more depth to compete at those positions on the line. So yeah, I've been waiting to see, is there going to be that big name, you know, guy who's going to sign on and all of a sudden you just go, oh man, what's going to happen now? So we haven't had that happen, but I know a lot of teams, including yours, have had those players. And it's just been one of those things, even though it's not affecting my team, I see other players. And it, to me, the NFL as a whole, well, we know it's all about the players, right? I mean, it's, you have the logo on the helmet, but you can't just throw anybody in those outfits. So it's all about who the players are, and of course, fantasy really drives that point home. But the more you lose marquee name players, it not only hurts the team that they're on, but I think it hurts the sport in general. Because you know, who wants to watch, you know, lesser named talent playing? We're here to watch all these guys who, you know, are being paid a lot of money to be the best of their position. So it's unfortunate that it has come to that. I understand that why they do made those decisions too, but it's you know, from a sports standpoint, it's frustrating. And I to be honest with you, I just don't know. My confidence in whether we're going to make it through the season is at maybe 50-50. I think it'll start on time, but whether it'll actually finish and make it to the end is what I really just have my serious doubts about, just considering how what we've seen already in the other sports. And football is the most close quarter, you know, type of sport that, you know, we could have. So, and we're not playing in a bubble when they don't have the control over where the players go and all that kind of stuff. So,
exactly. So, I mean, if you would have asked me about a month ago, I would be 98% sure that this is going to happen. Like, NFL is going to happen, no doubt in my mind. But now that we've gotten closer and closer to the season, honestly, I'm kind of in that same boat with you, with like 50-50, and it honestly freaks me out. But we just kind of have to wait and play and see what exactly happens with the NFL season. But I also wanted to segue into talking about another big name free agents that are out there that are obviously, getting pointed towards the Seahawks, of course, like always. Jadeveon Clowney is a big name out there that's rumbling out there. I heard Titans, Seahawks, and somewhere I heard Cleveland Browns, but I'm not sure how much that validity holds. But have you heard of anything on your end for the Jadeveon Clowney as well as the Antonio Brown situation?
Starting with Clowney, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of rumors floating around out there. I heard the one about the Titans, also the Browns. I think at one point, supposedly they'd offered him the highest contract out there a few weeks ago, and he supposedly rejected it. So to indicate that maybe he's not just looking for the highest payer, but, that maybe he wants a combination of, money and team that he feels he could win with.
Exactly.
So I've been saying all along, to many of the Seahawks fans' disagreements, at least for a while, that I said I believe at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, I think he's going to come back here. The Seahawks have left that door open. Yeah, Ooh. The Seahawks have left the door open. They've cut certain guys to leave enough cap space to sign a guy like Clowney or a Griffin. Somebody who is of that amount of money we're talking about in that mid. 10 to under 20,000, 10 to 15,000 million range.
Right.
And I just think, if this wasn't a COVID type world where the free agents could have just gone anywhere and got medically checked out and paid visits, I think he would have signed on with somebody a long time ago. I just think because of the fact that they couldn't do that, and especially with a player who's had injury issues. Clowney's had his injury issues. He had that abdominal thing that he was sports hernia thing that he was dealing with. And I'm sure any team that was going to pay some big bucks for a potentially 1 year deal is going to want to make sure that they know how solid he is. But when you can't do that, it's kind of hard for a team to really commit or offer a solid deal, at least from all the teams that might be interested. So I'm thinking that because of that, Clowney was probably just taking his time to see what's out there, who's willing to offer it out. And I don't know. I just feel like at the end of the day, when everything's done, he's going to be back with the Seahawks. It'll be breaking news. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, he's back with Seattle." I'll be going, "I told you guys. I told you he was coming back." Of course. So that's what I'm saying. But who knows? What at the end of the day. But I'm holding out hope with a candle in the window there that he's going to come back here. And I think he'll be great to have back on our defensive line. We certainly could use him back because he's not a sack machine like some guys are, but he's definitely a disruptor in the run game and elsewhere. So I hope he's back, and I think he will be. That's kind of my bold prediction that's going to happen.
That's a really bold prediction. There's also Josh Gordon that I also just want to touch a little bit based off, because now you have Josh Gordon might be coming back and there might be Antonio Brown. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I look at both of those. There's only one scenario that I would want to have Antonio Brown sniffing anywhere near Seattle, and that would be the 8-game suspension. Already we know that that's there.
Yep.
If he gets like 4 or 5 more, I'm even better with that, because to me the best usage of Antonio Brown is when he's least on the team to have his toxic personality affect your team, and you want to do it late in the season where you've already established your chemistry, your players are already in, the culture's set, and you bring this guy in as a late sort of pickup to just add some juice, a little bit of frosting on the cake, to just a little toy to tinker with on top of an already hopefully solid offense. To me, that would be the only circumstance I want him back. I read somewhere today on Twitter that there was some kind of case in Florida where the judge, I don't know, they ruled against him for some sort of thing that he was I don't know if it's related to the current case he's got going on, but whatever it was, it didn't look good for Antonio Brown. Further mess, man. Further making him just like more teams are going to go on. We're not going to touch this guy. So to me, if you're going to do it, you got to do it in the latest possible time. But even then, I'm like, let's see where it is. And Pete Carroll was asked about it, and he said, kind of in so many words, he wasn't going to say no, wasn't going to say yes, but we'll see how things are at the end of the season. On the other side of that, Josh Gordon, who's quietly just, been in timeout on the commissioner's list. I'm thinking if he does get put back on the list, it sounds like they're really high on bringing him back. I mean, he was very productive in, quiet, not big numbers kind of way, but he had a few big catches against the 49ers in the game where we beat them in San Francisco. And, had some very key plays that I think we could just build upon. So I think if he does get back into the game from the commissioner's list, I think Seattle picks him up and quickly puts him back on there a lot quicker than than they will Antonio Brown. Brown. I'd say a better than 50-50 chance that he's going to be back with Seattle.
And that just would make your wide receiving core like just that much scarier, because I mean you got DK Metcalf coming in his second year, which he's shown some flashes of being a pretty good wide receiver, and then you also have your speedster Tyler Lockett. So adding just any of those two would just kind of make me bash my head into the wall even more, just because if we can't contain Russell Wilson, he's always running for like 20 yards and we're always like slowly jogging after him, and it's really annoying to see, but we'll see, man.
Yeah, we definitely will see. I'm very excited about our receiving core. DK Metcalf, if he continues on the trajectory that he started on, he's going to be a beast for years to come. Tyler Lockett's just kind of small and steady and quick, and his security blanket. He's like the Doug Baldwin of the current age now for Russell Wilson. Yeah. And then we got Philip Dorsett from the Patriots in the offseason, who's not the kind of guy who's going to get you real excited and jumping off the chair or anything like that. But I think, again, it's just solid pass catching, just a guy who is quietly productive and can counter against what DK and Tyler Lockett. If those guys draw the extra coverage, guys like that will get some opportunities. And then David Moore, who he's one of our faster guys on the team, and again quietly just gets the job done and usually has at least a couple big catches in each game. But what I'm really excited about, and I'm going to be, this is my bold prediction. I've been saying that Will Dissly and Greg Olsen are two tight ends right now who are, to me, are the keys to Seattle's success this year.
Right.
And Will Dissly, our tight end, entering his third year. For the last 2 years, he's been injured early in the season with season-ending leg injuries that has just kept him from, after big starts, suddenly, boom, gone for the year.
Right.
And I think that this is the year that he finally makes it through a season relatively healthy, which means he's playing at the end of the season and come playoff time. And I think he's going to be huge for us. Paired with Greg Olsen, if those two guys can be anywhere near relatively healthy, 75% type of availability throughout the year and at the end of the year, I think they will make the biggest difference. I think that's the key group that completely defines what the Seattle offense will be about this year.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Greg Olsen has done it time and time again. He's getting up there in age, but doesn't kind of seem like he's slowing down that much. But also Will Dissly had some flashes, especially against the Arizona Cardinals, which he had a career game against us because we couldn't block the tight end to save our lives, which was another frustrating point that I wanted to go ahead and bring up. But just last thing I wanted to ask you, man, and I want your honest answer here. Who do you think is going to win the NFC West? You can be biased if you want, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be biased. That's for sure. And I've said this early on. I made a very bold prediction. Now, of course, I'm not going to come onto an Arizona Cardinals fans YouTube channel and say that we're not going to win the West. I have to say that Seattle's going to win the West. But I've said for a long time now, I think the shocking team, the team that's going to surprise everybody, at least out of the NFC West, is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. And I think that they are going to edge out the San Francisco 49ers this year. And it's going to be a super tight division where it's like a game that separates each place from first, second, and third, right? So I see it being Seattle, number 1, Arizona Cardinals, number 2, right behind us, and then 49ers dropping it like in the last game. We beat them in the final game of the year to knock them down to third place, and Arizona and Seattle end up grabbing those 2 spots there. So that is what I'm boldly predicting right now. That's
honestly happen. You made probably every subscriber on here happy, honestly. So, and you made me happy too, because to actually finally have somebody say the Cardinals can do something. I mean, not so much win the division. I don't think that's going to happen either. To me, I'm still kind of debating between Seattle being here and 49ers being right here. Now, obviously, I feel like Seattle has the edge because I really do feel a lot about that Super Bowl hangover sort of situation.
I do too. Yeah.
And I do think that if you guys have Danger Russell Wilson with you all the time, he's never gonna lay flat, and he's always going to try to win divisions. And he's just that type of guy. He's a baller. He's a really great player. So I'll give you that. You have a really, really great quarterback in Russell Wilson, and you guys could always be in contention for division when you have him.
I won't disagree with you there, man. But I tell you, though, that, you know, when that DeAndre Hopkins pickup went for you guys, and then looking at Kyler Murray in his second year, yeah, that scared the crap out of me, man. I was like, oh, my gosh, twice in a year, we got to face these guys now. And, you know, Larry Fitzgerald, he's no slouch, man. You know, and you guys have made a lot of improvements. But what did put my mind a little bit at ease is that Jamal Adams thing, man.
Yeah.
I know that one player doesn't alone make a defense, but if somehow through this whole crazy scenario we got going on with the offseason troubles, if we can get Jamal Adams going, and we have Quentin Dunbar, who's facing his own heap of legal troubles right now, but I don't know when he's going to see the inside of a courtroom. That might not be for another year, and he might be allowed to play football during all this whole time. Doesn't make any sense, but I think it might just happen. So if that's the case, we could have Shaquille Griffin, left corner, Quentin Dunbar, right corner, Jamal Adams, strong safety, and Quandre Diggs at free safety. And I really like that combination of secondary. Nice. A secondary that I would really have had hard times with since the LOB has broken apart. So to have a squad that could, I think, be one of the best secondaries in the NFL from a team that finished 26th in the defense ranking last year, going into this year at number 32, according to Pro Football Focus. We were predicted to be the number 32 worst defense in the entire NFL going into 2020. I kid you not. I think they would rewrite that number now if they were to see that secondary back there. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Honestly, I think the Arizona Cardinals has a really good secondary as well. I mean, not to toot our own horn, but we got Patrick Peterson. We got a second year Byron Murphy, Budda Baker, which is a rising star. Really excited about him. And there's a guy that we got in the supplemental draft that really shined in Jalen Thompson. So honestly, we'll see, man. I'm actually really excited to see what your secondary is going to look like and what our secondary is going to look like. So much more to come. We're a part of the Fan to Fan Network, which a lot of my subscribers aren't really aware of. Basically what it is a lot of different YouTubers got together, made a website, and we do collabs. We're going to basically make our own network. I'm just excited about it. Overall, I'm glad that we can have the opportunity to kind of collab with each other, especially being like rivals. But honestly, I think it's all like in fun and games, honestly. Like, you're a cool guy. Hopefully you think I'm a cool guy, but other than that,
I wouldn't be here if I didn't think you're a cool guy, man.
Right. So, true.
Nothing but love. Right.
True.
Except on Sundays.
Exactly. And I'm super excited to kind of gloat, because we don't gloat very often, but if it does happen where we go back to CenturyLink, I would love to get you back on on kind of like a collab, and either you talk smack to me because we couldn't do it, or I talk smack to you. I just think that would be awesome.
Oh yeah. I think that's a must-have, must-see TV right there. We'll definitely be doing that probably before and after on our channels and on the Fan to Fan Network. We'll definitely be milking those rivalries, especially if they're going to be as good as I think they're going to be.
Exactly.
Those should be some pretty heated, closely contested games that should be fun to watch. Should be really fun to watch.
So down.
I hope we can have a 16-game season with playoffs and a Super Bowl and all that stuff. I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
I know.
Hate to end it that way, but all this stuff is exciting to talk about. But that could all be pulled. The plug could all be pulled off in one
quick
swoop.
Absolutely.
So I hope it doesn't, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
I appreciate
it's crossed.
Right, exactly. I appreciate all your time that you've done here. Thank you so very much for being on the AZ Sports Fan YouTube channel. More to come. Thank you so much, Norb. Appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. We're going to end it right here, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
All right. Go Hawks.